Last video I got this centered, but I wasn't all that centered, so... Ooh, yeah! Ooh. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to episode 5 of Back At You with Brandon. Me! We're back with another solo episode today, but I ain't mad at it. And I know what you guys are thinking. Brandon's hair looks good.
Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god! What is that?
Yes. I got a cut. I got a new color. I can't tell, honestly, with these lights, what it looks like on camera. But it was supposed to be like a dark gray. Which it is, but it also has like a violet hue to it, which I'm not mad at. We didn't want to lift my hair too much to like mess it up. Shout out to you, Brad Mondo. You know, because that wouldn't be good, and I really don't want my hair to fall out. I'm going back in a few weeks to lift it some more, so it'll look more like a lighter gray or some other kind of gray. I don't know. Maybe a more defined gray, if you will. Finally done with that faded green, blue, whatever the I had mess. I feel like a brand new bitch. I feel great. So let's get this show started with my first segment, What's Poppin'?
That's hot.
So today's first topic on What's Poppin' actually just happened yesterday. Kim Kardashian filed for divorce from Kanye West after 7 years of marriage. Now, we kind of saw this coming, I think a month or so ago, maybe a little bit more. A story had dropped that they were proceeding with a divorce or whatever. I saw a shadow move. Maybe I'm tripping. Nobody's home, so I really hope I'm tripping. Anyways, a story had dropped that they were like thinking of getting divorced, or there was a rumor that they were about to get divorced, but nothing had been confirmed. I figured this was probably true though when it was first like dropped a month or so ago. Usually when a story's put out about like Kim or Kanye or any rumors start to swirl about them, Kim's the first one to hop onto Twitter and be like, this is not true. Everything about this is categorically untrue. So when she didn't say anything, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm not alone when saying that. Kind of saw this coming. It's not that much of a shock that they're getting divorced. Do you remember a time when Kanye went on a bit of a Twitter tirade against Kim and against Kris Jenner? Now it seems like it's ultimately led to their divorce, which, you know, is sad, but from the article I did read, it seems like it's pretty amicable. It's actually going through relatively smoothly. They're okay with having joint custody and like they're gonna be able to co-parent all their kids. That's a positive from like the sad news of a divorce. At least it's not getting too messy. You know, Kim has definitely blindly defended Kanye in the past about a lot of things. As we all know, there was the Taylor Swift drama that went down. Kim called Taylor a snake, and then Taylor disappeared for a year and then made an album about being a snake. Side note, that whole situation was ridiculous because it had like a resurgence not too long ago. To get into it, because why not? Kim exposed Taylor some odd years ago. Kanye had written a verse saying he made that bitch famous in some song. Taylor was like hurt and like was just like, I didn't know that he was gonna put this in the song, that he was gonna call me a bitch. Kim was like, she's a snake, and like leaked videos on Twitter where Kanye had actually called Taylor and was like, can I say this in the song? And she was like, yeah, totally, that's fine. And it was like, oh damn, Taylor really trying to play the victim. The actual full clip was released somehow where in fact it kind of backed up Taylor's story. Twitter was kind of turning against Kim and they were just like, you posted an edited clip and you didn't tell the full story and you had us all turn on Taylor. And she was just like, guys, I didn't post an edited clip. I just took out parts of a clip and I put certain parts together, and then what I wanted you to see, you saw, and I posted it. Bitch, what do you think editing is? What? Anyways, she had blindly defended him in the past with Taylor. There's been other instances as well. I think the most recent one that was a bit like, ugh, was when he decided to run for president. Kim was also very loyal in supporting his business ventures. She would walk around the streets of Japan, the streets of LA, just rocking those overpriced biker shorts. And you know, if that's not love, I don't know what is. I think it got to a point where she loved him and wanted to stay with him and didn't want to like leave him because she felt bad, like, you know, divorcing him when he was at such a low point. She needed to look out for herself. And it seemed also like he was kind of on this journey of like, you know, finding a religious path and like kind of being quote unquote more conservative. And she just didn't seem like on the same wavelength with a lot of things.
You've built me up to be this like sexy person and confidence and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And just because you're on a journey and you're on your transformation doesn't mean that I'm in the same spot with you.
It seems like they just became rather incompatible. I'm sure we'll find out all about it on this season finale of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But wait, it's the final season on E! And I'm sure we'll get a little more into it on the first episode of the Hulu reboot. Piggybacking off the Kardashians, Kendall Jenner started a tequila line.
I don't give a fuck, Keisha.
My next story for What's Poppin' is Demi Lovato just released the trailer to her new YouTube documentary, Dancing with the Devil. This, I believe, is going to be a 4-part documentary. It looks really good. It's supposed to follow, you know, kind of what led up to her overdose, why she overdosed, what happened, her journey afterwards towards recovery and being sober and making new music. She revealed in the trailer that she had actually suffered 3 strokes and a heart attack, and that the doctors had said she only had like 5 to 10 minutes to live. That's insane. She seems to be in a really good place. Seems like, you know, she's actively working towards living a better life and being sober, and I think that's great. Her last documentary, The Simply Complicated, which also was on YouTube, I like that she posts them on YouTube or has them on YouTube for like free, so then you can just watch them. Her last documentary was really good. It got into her latest album, Tell Me You Love Me, which, by the way, I feel like that album is not nearly as appreciated as it should be. It's actually a really good album. Anyways, it had followed her making that album and touched into her sobriety and a relapse she had had. And it was a good inside look into her life, and I really liked it. She had talked about when she punched someone in the face.
I remember thinking, I'm about to beat this bitch up.
Given that, I think this 4-part documentary is going to be very good, and I'm looking forward to it. The documentary also seems like it's going to touch on her short-lived engagement with Max. What's his last name? Something with an E. I'm very interested to know what happened with that. There's a funny clip where like it shows her with the ring and she's like, I'm engaged! And then cuts to her without it, just like,
I'm engaged.
That's not the right finger, is it? No, it is. When the engagement was called off, he made like those weird videos. He seemed very distressed.
I hope this makes you happy. Enjoy. You just lost someone who loved you fully, completely, infinitely for everything.
He also paid paparazzi to follow him on the beach. I feel bad. You know, he was sad. He was sad. I wonder what happened. Because, I mean, I feel like, wasn't their relationship, like, didn't it start during quarantine or something? And then they got engaged after 4 months. I didn't like her engagement ring. It was like, looked like you would trap souls in it. Definitely looking forward to that. I believe it premieres March. Gosh, I need to do better research. I think it was March 23rd. I could be wrong, but I'll put it here. And if I'm right, I'm great. So that ends my What's Poppin' segment for today's video. I'll be right back at you after this commercial break.
This is the part of the show where I could drop some product placement. collect some cash so I can build up some more of that good savings. I need some cash over here, some cash over there. Overdraft fee is near, and that just ain't fair. I need me some pay to get through the day. I'm trying to catch a bag, but it's been taken away. I need more AdSense in my bank account, some sponsorships to get me through this drought. I need some cash now, it would help my health. I was getting kinda used to the idea of wealth. No, but seriously, pay me. Sponsor me. I need money. Okay, bye.
Baby, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Welcome back. I need to do a new commercial sometime soon. I'm brainstorming. Anyways, so let's get started with my next segment. Let's get started with my next segment, Back to Reality.
There's people that are dying.
I will be continuing to cover Summer House. It is now episode 3. Why do I have so many notes? Not even that much happened this episode. Jesus. So the episode starts where we left off last week, where Hannah is confronting Luke with Sierra, and now she has yelled, cried, and stormed off.
Stop texting me goodnight and leave me alone.
Hannah,
just
stop
leave me
texting
alone.
me goodnight. I don't know why it has to be like this.
You're not my friend, bro. You're not my
I'm
friend.
Like, stop texting me and leave me alone. Luke seems very confused. Paige and Amanda go to console Hannah, and Hannah is just a mess, crying in the pantry.
Everything you said was spot on.
She feels like Luke brought Sierra to hurt her and rub her in her face. She also brings up the fact that in the past, when she would talk to other guys, he would get jealous and put an end to it.
Where's mine? What's up, bro? How you doing? I'm Luke.
So she's just confused as to why he keeps saying that they never dated and they're just friends. Sierra is just basically telling Luke, look, I feel like you're kind of downplaying your relationship with Hannah, and we compared notes. They were very similar, and I just feel like you're not being completely honest with me.
I don't know if you had like ulterior motives this summer.
I feel like, are you like diminishing like what you guys had or like downplaying it?
Luke says that he's always been honest with Hannah and never wanted a relationship and just saw her as a friend, but Sierra feels like based off everything she's heard that Luke kind of sent mixed signals. Like he would say one thing but then do another. Ultimately, Luke says that he likes Sierra and is over his ex and wants to try and pursue things with her. It cuts to Steven and Lindsay. This part was crazy. It's like 10 p.m. Steven all of a sudden needs to work. I don't know if he really needed to work, but he went to work. Lindsay's drunk and angry. She goes into the room and is just like, are you working? And he's like, yeah, I told you I had to work. And she's like, what do you mean?
You have not done one thing for me since you've been in this house. So let's get that straight.
She's a mess. Lindsay starts complaining and being like, you work all day, you never make time for me, you never do anything for me, you always want me to do for you. How many sandwiches have you made me?
How many sandwiches have you made for me?
Steve is just like, why are you yelling at me? I'm trying to work, this is crazy. And she's like, no! It was pretty crazy because he was like chill, just like working. Their energies just weren't matching. She was drunk and on one, and he seemed to be sober and just trying to get some Excel file done.
I'm pretty sure you haven't made me one sandwich.
Cuts to the next day. Carl seems to be showing interest in Sierra, which is interesting. I wonder if him and Luke will clash because of that. Time passes and it cuts to Lindsay talking with Danielle about her fight with Steven the night before. And she tells Danielle that they haven't gotten a chance to talk or make up yet. Danielle says that, you know, the house senses the tension between them. AKA, they hear y'all yelling at each other crazily late at night. Lindsay reveals that before quarantine, her and Steven were great. They were so compatible, they were a very social couple, they would go out a lot, and they really didn't have many issues. But then during quarantine, they started to hate each other.
Coming into the house this summer, I'm thinking we're gonna have friends around. This should be helping our relationship. And it's not.
I mean, if y'all can't be around each other alone, I just don't think y'all are gonna work. Like, you know what I mean? While Lindsay and Danielle are talking, Paige, Hannah, and Amanda are also talking. Paige is basically saying that she thinks Lindsay is staying with Steven for convenience. Because, you know, Lindsay's turning 34, which isn't old by any means, but she wants to settle down and she wants to have a family. And she feels like if she leaves Steven, she'll have to start all over again. And she doesn't really want to do that. Later that night at dinner, Lindsay and Steven finally get a chance to talk and hash things out. Steven basically says, like, look, I came to this house for you. You knew I had to work, and now all of a sudden you have an issue with it. And when he says he came to the house for her, he agreed to film this show because she needed him, and now she's like flipping out on him. Lindsay apologizes for yelling the night before, but says that, you know, she feels like that he doesn't make time for her, and her love language is quality time.
My love language.
It's quality time.
And do you try to give me quality time? Not at night.
And she starts yelling. He can't really get a word in edgewise. But then finally they come to a standstill where he says, look, if you need time for me, I'll make time in the morning.
I now know how you feel. You want me to carve out time. I have work during a set time, but if you want to hang out in the morning, you want to have coffee? I don't drink coffee, but I'll sit down and have a conversation with you because I want to grow together.
I'll shake on that.
All is well for now. Lindsay also has a moment where she's just like, it cuts to her interview after her and Steven make up, and she's like, I'm just so empathetic. Girl, what do you, like, what? How did we get there? Cuts to the next day, and everyone's working, everyone's, you know, living their life. Luke and Hannah pass each other in the kitchen, and he tries to say, hey, what's up? And she ignores him. He's confused, don't really know why. He says that Hannah is good at putting on a show, and that ultimately he's glad that he never slept with her. And he is just worried that with how Hannah's acting, Sierra's going to get the wrong impression and not want to pursue things with her or with him. Cuts to dinner time. They're sitting outside. Hannah refuses to sit next to Luke. And, you know, Sierra's like, let's say grace. You know, she says in grace, like, thank you for the relationships that have existed in this house and for the relationships that are growing. And then Hannah interjects and she's like, or the relationships that you lie about. Luke. And Luke is like, after grace, Luke asks Hannah to step aside with him to chat. And she's like, okay. Luke tells Hannah that, you know, he felt bad seeing her cry that night, but that he thought they had an understanding on where their relationship stood. And she said that quarantine, they talked all the time and it kind of made it blurry. Luke says that they had actually had a conversation and he said verbatim that she's just a friend, nothing more. She then says, you never said that. You actually said that you don't like labels and that you didn't want to label anything. He denies it.
I'm not your friend. You're calling me your friend to make yourself look
I'm
good.
not.
You basically go, Hannah, I couldn't be with you last summer because my head was up, but now my head is clear. And here is this girl that I'm so into, and that's not going to be weird because we're just friends. But we're friends. I'm a good guy.
Things start to escalate. You know, he starts yelling, she starts crying.
You're dismissing all my feelings, everything you've done. You're so not a friend.
I don't know what world you're living in, but it's not reality.
He goes to talk to the guys, and the guys are basically like, you know, Hannah's in love with you. Hannah, however, is being consoled by the girls, and she's basically crying, saying that, you know, she feels like she's been on a leash with this guy, and he's been emotionally manipulating her. You know, she's done being strung along.
I kind of take Luke's side on this. Luke's a asshole.
And Sierra's basically saying that she's very upset with how Luke talked to Hannah. She thinks it was very wrong of him to like yell at her, and now she's kind of reconsidering whether she would want to pursue things with him and if she even knows him at all. Episode ends. Next week looks really good. It seems like Luke is admitting to Hannah that he loves her.
I've never had a connection with someone the way I do with you. And I love you.
A big 180 from this episode. And it also seems like Hannah's getting into it with Amanda and Kyle.
Hannah, don't play this game.
Amanda, you can tolerate him yelling at you, but I don't tolerate him yelling at me. God. She doesn't give a...
Looks intense. Cups are thrown. People are yelling. People are crying. Looks great. So that ends the Back to Reality segment for this episode. And I'll see you guys after this commercial break.
I got no money from this freaking channel. Piggy bank is empty now. I got bills to pay every single day, and an ad is what I want. Depositing no checks. My financial status really is a wreck. Sponsor me, I'm the best. Can promote your stuff way better than the rest. Pay me for an ad now. 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 Pay me for an ad.
This is the part that had a copyright claim, so unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hear the outro to my commercial. So, thanks, Harry, so much. Appreciate it. Bye! So that's it for this episode of Back At You with Brandon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye! That's good. I feel like my nipples are out. You're welcome. To watch a Billie Eilish documentary. Really? The home phone's ringing?